Namaskaram, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We have a special super thing going on. We have Abhishek Anna with us. Namaskaram, Anna.
Namaskaram.
So this is all about Sadhanapada, and I'll directly go into it without any much further delay. Anna, come on, take it from here. What's this gonna be about?
Okay. Yes, hey everybody. For those of you that don't know, currently I'm in India right now at the Isha Yoga Center. There's a 7-month, 8 months this year. It's an 8-month intensive self-transformation program called Sadhanapada. Sadhanapada just has to do with the name particularly. It just means a period of the year. And they say that it's a very conducive time to work on yourself for your own transformation. So, you know, first thing, let me just talk a little bit about who I am and how I got here. If you want to know more detail, we've done a podcast where I went a little bit further into my life story. I think it's a bit of a long podcast, but it was a nice conversation.
Awesome. It'll be linked in the description, or it's also there in YouTube. You guys can check it out.
Absolutely. And so, just how did I get here? Yeah, it was always about working on myself, making my life better. I mean, we all are, right? We all are looking for a way to make our lives well, to live better. And then one of the things that I turned to was meditation. I took a program called Inner Engineering, and it was very unique. It promised basically that I would be able to shut off the stress manufacturing unit in my brain, which I thought was pretty interesting. Is one of the things they talked about, and also you would become naturally blissful. So all the biochemistry.
The mic is there on your headphone. I can just notice the mic.
No, it doesn't work.
Oh, okay,
there's two things that doesn't work.
Okay, continue.
yeah. So it's not, it doesn't work. I have to use a computer mic. But where was I? Yeah. So basically, I was just talking about this program, Inner Engineering, how I got to it. One was this turning off the stress manufacturing unit in my brain, and the other was, first of all, it's the chemistry in our body that decides, or that expresses how we're experiencing. If we're experiencing a pleasantness, there's a certain biochemistry. If we're experiencing unpleasantness, there's a different biochemistry. So with meditation, you can change that. And particularly with this program, it looked like it was very powerful based on the experiences that I heard from other people on reviews and stuff. So I decided to take it. I practiced it, it had a huge impact on me, and I knew that I had to go deeper because this was one thing I need to do, work on myself, because anything that I do is only going to be as good as I am. So if I need to make myself into a better individual, what do I need to do? Well, the person who, Sadhguru, he launched the Inner Engineering program. He's also launched Sadhanapada. This is an 8-month intensive program without a fee. So I'm gonna stop right there. You can all look into it. Maybe we can include a link in the description. Also, if you go on YouTube or Google, you type Sadhanapada Isha Foundation or Sadhanapada Sabu, there's just a ton of videos. There's also an Instagram channel and all these things. So I made a few notes on a few things that I think we can cover along the journey. And if you have any questions, you let us know. Let us know in the comments. We love your questions. We want to answer your questions. Everything that you've got, lay it on us.
Okay. Hey, say your Instagram channel, no? So that they can DM you directly.
Yeah, you can also reach me directly on Instagram. My Instagram is @Apple Snack Productions. Apple, like the fruit, snack isn't something you eat between meals, which we're not supposed to do here if we want to maintain intermittent fasting. We can go into that later. And productions, like you're producing something. Maybe we can have this in the description. Will we have this in the description, Vaisakh?
Yes, I'll put it.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk quickly about some of the things that we'll talk about. So one thing will be challenges. Every journey has a challenge, and particularly there's challenges that I'm facing and I'm overcoming, and others that I'm still at a standstill with. And sometimes I find myself 1 step forward, 2 steps backward. We'll also talk about how I've noticed my growth and how I'm evaluating my growth. Because noticing growth is one thing, and you also have to evaluate it and see how you're growing, measure it. And then we'll talk about the expectations that I had. Now, I mentioned I wanted to do this program, so I had certain expectations. I didn't have too many expectations, but I expected something. What's the reality? And as I go through the program, I create certain expectations. What's the reality? This whole shift, particularly right now, like there's monsoon season happening. I just didn't expect this at all. It's like nothing. Like the trees, instead of being, the trees are going like this. Okay, and I tried to run my clothes in the terrace. and then the clothes, they're drying like this, and they go like this too. And it's constantly raining. It's just a very huge challenge that I didn't expect in this kind of a place, but it's a huge opportunity for growth. So which brings me to the next thing. We want to talk about the opportunities in the journey that lies ahead. And that really comes from the challenges and from the limitations that we see. So talking about limitations, moving from limitations to possibilities. How can you take a limitation, turn it into a possibility? So what's a limitation? Just touching up briefly on what a limitation is. Let's say you want to do, um, let's say I have my hands. I want to stand and I want to touch the floor with my hands. If I can't, that's a limitation. But it's also a possibility because I could potentially touch the floor with my hands. It might seem like a silly example, but I actually cannot stand straight with my knees, knees not bent, knees straight, and my back right can bend down and touch the floor. I can't do that yet, but it might not seem like a big deal. But what it means is you're taking your limitations, you're bending them, you're becoming flexible with them. When you can do that, then you can move on to the next thing. So I'm going to briefly touch on what this means. Solid to solid to liquid to gas. Okay, sorry, I messed up. Let's go back. I missed one thing. So this is something. Well, I'd heard this, and I'm not coming up with this. Someone else mentioned this. This is what we're doing. What it can do for us. We're going from solid to flexible, to fluid, to gaseous, to nothing. This reminds me of a quote by Bruce Lee. He once said in an interview, he said, "Be like water, my friend. You put water in a cup, it becomes a cup. You put water in any vessel, it becomes the vessel." This is about going even beyond that. So what we're doing here in Sadhanapada, I feel, is this one thing. Become more flexible, not just in the body, but the body, the thoughts, the emotions, the energy, many different things that we do. I didn't actually talk about what Sadhanapada involves. It involves intense yogic sadhana. Sadhana means a tool or a device for growth. Anything that you're using to grow yourself is called sadhana. Particularly, this is yogic sadhana. Yogic meaning it's yoga. So yoga, meditation, deriving from just the inner experience. Okay, so how do you use yourself as a tool to enhance yourself? We're looking at how can I use my phone to enhance my life? That's cool. But how can I use myself to enhance me? What this means is you're changing the chemistry, you're changing your own chemistry in a very pleasant way. Chemistry is one aspect. There's many other aspects, right? Okay, so just the last thing that last thing that I have, which is talking about insecurity and feelings of inadequacy. Okay, we all have this. We all have some insecurity. We all feel inadequate about something. But the way I see it, and I could be wrong, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this in the comments, or you can DM me, whatever. This comes from the social context. If I was alone in the world, if there was nobody with me, there's nothing to be insecure about. There's nothing to feel inadequate about. It comes from comparison. So this is stepping out of that box of comparison. Okay. So also, these are some of the things I thought of that we can discuss, and we'll also go deeper into other aspects. And of course, we want to talk to you. So everybody who's listening on the podcast, everybody who's watching the video, whatever platform you're watching on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever we post this. I was about to say TikTok, but I was like, it's banned in India. It's not on TikTok. But anyways, whichever platform it goes on to, you can reach us. Our contact will be in the description on any platform. Yeah, Vaisakh. Anything else?
I think you talked about all this, but the questions are going to be coming about food, programs, and these are what the questions are going to be. So Anna has a lot of things, guys, but please feel free to ask whatever question you have. DM him, okay?
No, don't DM me.
Oh, no DM.
Don't DM me.
Okay.
I mean, they can DM if they want, but I won't really be able to reply that much.
You can just check the questions and then choose some questions from them, and in the podcast you can answer them.
We can see what to do, because the schedule for Sadhanapada is very tight, which is awesome because it gives you an opportunity to really look at yourself, look inward, and grow. Is there anything else you think I should talk about? Maybe in my experience over the last little while, or what do you think?
No, I think like let's keep it like that. You talk about like these limitations. Something or the other will happen in Sadhanapada. Like you said, you bent. Maybe one day you are able to touch your knee. You can tell that. Oh,
Yeah.
so let it happen with the flow. That's what I think.
Awesome. So I have many other experiences that have already happened to me in the last 5, 6 weeks since the program started on June
Okay.
27th. But we won't talk about that today.
Yeah.
We'll leave that for another day, and we'll leave today as simply an introduction.
Yeah.
So what we want today, everybody who's watching, everybody who's listening, whatever you're curious about, AMA. Ask me anything.
Oh, okay. I was like, what is this? Amma. Why is he calling his mother?
Ama means yes in Tamil. For those of you that don't know.
Okay, Anna.
Anyways, that's pretty cool. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear this, but the rain is really hitting hard. Storm is coming. By the way, I'll be posting a video on my Instagram for those of you that are curious on how this looks. It's very interesting and exciting. That's the surprise.
Okay, Anna. Thank you. Okay.
Awesome.